Hello everyone. Okay. Oh, new camera that's very, very light on the touch. Let me know if you can all hear and see me properly. There's a 20-second delay between me and you, so bear that in mind. A lot of familiar faces. Boffin, hi, how are you, man? August Lyon, Donna, Ted. Oh, I had better put my phone on silent. That's unprofessional of me. Yep, I'm back from my holidays. 2 and a bit week break, but just over 2 weeks break. I went to Europe, had a nice time. The weather was perfect, beautiful. Here in Australia, we're in the middle of winter. Over there, it was just great weather, so had a really good time. The flight, though, can't say very good things about that. It's too saturated, I think. What do you think? Let me adjust the video just a bit. That's better. How is everyone? I hope you're well. I'm better than last time when I had my sore throat. Some of you may have liked the sound of my voice, but I didn't like the feeling of it. Okay. Some really great comments. I mean, the latest video I put up yesterday is too soon, but the videos prior, these ones, I can't go back and what if she gets pregnant, had some really interesting and astute comments from people. It's what I like. The comment section is my favorite because, I mean, I can only tell you my point of view. And, okay, no one's giving me any negative feedback about the video or audio, so I'm taking everything's fine. What was I saying? Yeah, these two videos, I'm really bad at doing this in reverse. This and this one. Yeah, and look, I'll just get straight into, like, if you guys have any questions or, sensible comments regarding these recent videos, please, like, leave them in the live stream, the comment section of the stream on the right, in the live chat, and I'll answer them, but make sure you put a couple of really brightly colored emojis, like maybe like more than 3 or 4 before your question, so I know it's a question. Otherwise, it just looks like you're all chatting, which is fine. But just keep it civil and nice. But if you want me to ask a question, make sure you add a whole bunch of emojis. And with that, I'll start reading some of the notable comments, starting with the first one. What if she gets pregnant? Dennis H said, I had a vasectomy. If my girl gets pregnant, she has some explaining to do. Yeah, that's a tricky one because you're not telling her something big, but then again, if you're honest at the start and you say, I don't want any kids, and she's saying, yeah, me too. I don't want any kids, 100% I'm on the same page, it's a moot point. So I don't actually think there's anything wrong with it if you discuss it. But if you don't talk about it, it's actually a big thing if you don't know whether she wants kids or not. I'm always, basically in my channel, I'm always trying to tell people to be honest right from the beginning about who you are and what you want, and insist through conversation that she do the same. Because a lot of times guys will excuse the whole oh, she's shy, she doesn't talk much. It's not often the case. Ruler Dynamic said, well, in terms of the argument, when people say, well, he shouldn't have slept with her then, so he's responsible. And he says, not a good argument because it places all responsibility on one person. You can make the same argument for abortion. You want to do that? Well, you shouldn't have slept with him then. We need a better system where rights and responsibilities are shared. I agree, but until that happens, the best way you can get as fair, equal rights is between the personal conversation and the life you're living and discussing with the person you're with. You can't just rely on the law. The law is out there, the law is real, and I'm not saying it doesn't exist and it has really bad repercussions for a lot of guys. But there's so many guys that keep their mouth shut, they don't talk about stuff, they're not interested in it until it becomes interesting because they have to. Because, it's all about going into things as clear-eyed as you can. Like I said, I'm sympathetic to the guys out there who want kids and family and marriage and the whole traditional 9 yards, and they really feel like they're not living much of a life by just playing it safe, which I understand. It's very dangerous out there. But at the same time, if really you see your life there and everything else in life is just you spinning your wheels and you're not really having much fun, then I would say, why is... The video looks weird. Anyway, the sun's going in and out as well. So, apologies. I've got a grey top on, just so the white highlights don't get blown out too much. But still, with this weather, it's so contrasty. I can't do much about it. Anyway, I like how this picture looks. I'm using, for the nerds out there, I'm using a Canon EOS R with a 24mm f1.4 lens, variable ND, MXL 990 microphone running through a Rodecaster Pro with a bit of compression, running just above Unity with the volume at 20. It's in the green. And for you guys who don't care, it'll mean absolutely nothing to you, as the late great Paul Proteus would say. T-Dog says, having kids to me is one of the most important decisions I could ever make. And the thought of having the choice taken away is terrifying. We evolved with sex having consequences, and the advancement we've made to have minimized the very real risks. Treating it as a harmless hobby is dangerous because it's a lottery as to how people will react if things go south. Perhaps this sounds a bit prudish, but you don't want to engage with anyone who would play manipulative power games for their own benefits. Yes, it's not fair that poor behavior is rewarded, but men now have to have higher standards for their own protection. Yes, I agree 100%. Men have to have higher standards for their own protection, not because we want some sort of empowerment or career like women tend to, but it's literally survival. It's not because we want to go shopping and have sort of an excess of financial security. The cheapening of the game has encouraged more narcissistic behavior. I agree. He says, I agree that it's such a shame that things now are so combative, and some are perfectly fine with using others. This goes for both sides. Avoiding a disaster is smart, but we mustn't let fear and potential unfairness from keeping us from trying to meet good people. I agree. Good comment, T-Dog. Yeah, hit the like button, guys, and subscribe if you haven't. It helps the algorithm out. Obviously, since I was gone for a couple of weeks, my numbers and the channel went off a cliff. That's just the nature of YouTube. So anything you can do to support the channel would be great to put my numbers up. I think I dropped like 1,500 subs or something. Can't even take a holiday on YouTube. Hang on. Why am I too high? That's the autofocus. Okay. Yeah, Realistic Delinquent says, it seems so many arguments made by the pro-choice people are diametrically opposed to the proposed values of that same sentiment. Yeah. My choice is important, but yours isn't. I've said this a few times. This is a one big reason why men gravitate towards Stoicism and philosophy, because philosophy and Stoicism and those sort of things, they make sense, but beyond making sense, they're consistent across both sides. They make sense for for one person and the other. You cannot be a hypocrite. You know, the sentiments expressed in Stoicism, for example, are human sentiments. And that's why when we talk about it, in regards to men and women, we can actually apply it there when it's got nothing to do with biology, but just fair human treatment and how you treat somebody. Because the easy barometer is when there's some sort of unfairness, we always talk about, well, how would a woman like it if this happened to them, or how would a man like it? It's if you can apply the same thing, the same thing that you think is unfair, would both sides be okay with it? Then you know it's fair, because there are some things that life is just unfair for both. But if it hasn't got to do with biology, like, men are generally stronger than women, and men and women's interests and predilections can be mildly different to extremely different. But yeah, that's why thinking rationally and making better choices individually is really, really important. Vero says on the video, what if she gets pregnant? He says, if I go to the lake to enjoy the view, then I don't plan to swim. If I plan to swim, I'll have the prerequisites to do so. Yeah, because I think what I was talking in the video, it's not fair that most people today, everyone's going to hook up, everyone's going to have fun. Then most people aren't really going to bed with each other seriously to make a baby. Everyone's just going there to enjoy each other's bodies and to sort of let themselves fall into that hot bath of, you like someone, and that's what adults do. But you went to enjoy the view of the lake. You might not necessarily want to jump in and have a family. But yeah, then afterwards, like, well, I don't care if you didn't want to go for a swim. You're going for a swim. KJ says, always be in control of birth control, condoms and vasectomy. Do not trust her. A woman will have a kid not because she's caring and wants to be a responsible mother, but because her friend or cousin has had one recently and they're getting lots of likes on social media. Meanwhile, the man's life is in ruins. The law now has him on the hook. Yeah. Again, like I've said, like, guys who want to go skydiving, guys who want to ride motorbikes, do whatever makes you feel alive, but do it as sensibly and safely as you can. Because I don't think life is worth living if you're 100% safe, sensory deprived, and you're just existing and waiting for the grave up ahead. You have to you don't have to, right? Again, like, lexically accurate people out there. I don't have to do anything human. Fine. For me, there's nothing that's going to stop me doing something that I really want to do that's past the filter of calculated acceptable risk, where, the balance, if there's a 50-50 balance of surviving and not surviving, depending on how rationally and carefully I plan and go about things, the more I can tip the scales in favor of safety, the better. But I will always go towards a calculated risk. I've started to understand that more and more as I've gotten older, as I've tried and failed in small little ways, as I've dodged bullets in big ways. You sort of get a sense of the reality of having to take some sort of calculated risk where the only thing stopping you is actually fear itself. It's not really that the world's going to come crashing down. Sometimes if you don't make a sensible decision, the world, the stats will have you in real danger. I'm not saying that. But yeah, lean in the direction where you're going to feel alive, but do it maturely with your eyes open. I'm always advocating. So I'm not telling you guys what to do. I'm trying to tell you guys to think and realize that most great things you can have in life means that you got to prepare and then jump. As Hunter S. Thompson said, buy the ticket, take the ride, but with your eyes open and as safely as you can. Okay, any questions? Hi to all the regulars. I gave up smoking while on holidays. No, I had a cold just before my holidays. All right, no questions in the chat that I can see. I'll continue with the comments under the last recent videos. Okay, under this video, I can't go back. I really enjoyed making that video. It was just the off the cuff, me ruminating on sort of where I've come from in the last recent years, how my channel's evolved, how I've evolved. And I did the video just before going on holiday. So it was like a great moment of me reflecting, going on this trip, and just kind of thinking about my life. And yeah, a lot of you probably noticed, like, and I've read a few comments of people saying we've noticed your evolution over the last couple of years. I suppose the biggest change happened a couple of years ago, during, you know, the bug, where my dad passed away, and that was a real defining moment. I was changing, like, I was slowly, like, chewing on things philosophically, changing my life. I was always leaning in this direction, but I made a really big change because I felt like there was, I couldn't BS myself as much. I found it hard to let go of a lot of my old toys. And when Dad passed away, it was like a no BS moment. You know, at the funeral, you know, just thinking about him, what kind of person he was, what kind of person I wanted to become, the lessons I'd learned, what was important, family and things like that. Just letting go of fear. At that point when Dad passed away, when I was at the, you know, looking over his grave and stuff, and I'm not being melodramatic when I say I just lost a lot of fear, and I kind of saw more clearly what was really and realistically worth being afraid of, you know? And of course, I'm not perfect, I'm constantly evolving, but that was a massive shift. So I've had a few comments positively saying that they're enjoying the recent videos the last year or so. And I have evolved. I want to do more in videos that are enjoyable. I'm not saying just be positive no matter what. Sometimes you just can't be happy. You can't find any motivation. But we logically and sensibly know that life is better the more you try as much as you can to lean into, like, constructive things, trying to see the glass half full as much as you can. Not being as pessimistic, being careful, but yeah, negativity just kind of, if you can help it, if all it's doing is adding vinegar to your life for no reason, that's one reason why I kind of have distanced myself from MGTOW over the years. Isn't because I don't respect what it was, but now it's just become sort of very pickup slash one side versus the other, and there's no kind of reflection on how we can go our way and be better people, and going your own way isn't just a binary approach of, like, locking yourself in a safe cage. For many guys it is, and if you're happy and content, you know, more power to you. I'm not disrespecting you, believe me. I know some of you feel I am, but I'm not. I've done it myself, and I don't know. Look at this weather? This fucking, anyway. I should have put the blinds up just a bit more. Actually, no, I won't do it now. It'll go out of focus. Actually, I will. Let's do real time, huh? Come on. Okay. All right. That's better. Autofocus back on. All right. That'll help. Just needed to open the blinds just this much. Yeah, anyway, like my videos, I'm really enjoying editing, making the quality of my videos, like when I want to talk about something, making them a bit more interesting to watch, thereby like it goes hand in hand with how I'm trying to speak about these things, trying to kind of show and talk about going in a better direction where your life's happier and better and you feel like you're enjoying things more. Yeah, sure, let's talk about what we don't want anymore, but let's kind of imbue it with what we do want and how we do want. As a couple of comments have said, that initial phase of like talking about the basics to form a base understanding of what went wrong, where you came from, like, female nature, and a lot of the foundations of MGTOW, for instance, they're great, and they're always awesome reference points. But as I said, a lot of those really aren't applicable in real time when you're sitting across a date, having a coffee and talking and trying to find out about the other person and having a conversation. You're not kind of distancing yourself in your own head while you're with someone talking and thinking, plucking out Briefolt's law and all these kind of very honest and true lessons. You need to be aware of them, but you need to be engaged with the person you're talking to. You need to be engaged with the life you're walking through. So in terms of I can't go back, this video I made just before I went on holiday, Richard says, as I was told, learn from the mistakes of others because you won't live long enough to make them all yourself. A lot of the mentoring has gone for men, especially. That's why it seems, and it is, so much more dangerous for guys these days. They're growing up with single mothers who can't teach them how to be men, who really don't have, like, most women don't really care about men in general. So men almost have to start backwards and learn a lot through falling down, not just skinning their knee, but, dodging bullets and, losing kids. Whereas if they had a father or male mentors who would really speak honestly to them without women around, there's very little male conversations going around. So, yeah, learn from the mistakes of others because you won't live long enough to make them yourself. Well said. Ruben F says, so basically you've evolved from the what the F is it with women to what the F does it mean to be a human. Much more interesting. Thanks, Ruben. Ruben's talking about, as I was mentioning before, my evolution. Why am I so orange now? It's because the sun has come out. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I can't stand when something's slightly off. Let me just desaturate it a bit. Whoa. Yep, that'll do. Anyway. Is the stream still healthy? How long have we been going for? Okay, 24 minutes. Okay, next comment by Arvero on I Can't Go Back. He or she says, I think not being in a relationship is the best time to self-reflect and work on our flaws. The importance is to do it for oneself. And that's also an important thing, our flaws, to acknowledge that we're not perfect as well. There's too many guys, it seems like, and again, I realize when wrong was done to you, but there's so many guys that talk just about the wrongs of their ex. And it's kind of like either they don't exist in the conversation or they're perfect. And it's all, so we focus on women all the time. A lot of these guys who just talk about her, how bad she is, how bad women are, women, the system, women, all this external stuff that's not them. So either you're perfect or you're invisible. And I think it serves to do both things, where the whole conversation is about her and the external and the world and everything. It's never about this interactive you. What about you? Because I think at the same time, if you start saying, I'm great, men are great, we're great, there's nothing wrong. It's kind of, after a while, it's kind of like you've got a bit of an ego, man. Again, blame where blame is due, but we have to talk about the I as well. Arvero continues. The importance is to do it for yourself. Not to for outside approval. If it doesn't work, try again. If it still doesn't work, try a different approach. Am I too loud? Accept that everybody likes different flavors of ice cream. Yes. This is the thing. A lot of people aren't interested philosophically. They're not interested in sort of thinking and talking. And then, okay, if you're not interested, you go out into the world. The world is very interested and it'll do what it wants with you. And then afterwards, then you become very philosophically interested in throwing mud at the world or saying how unfair women are. Then all of a sudden there's philosophical interest, but you're never philosophically interested in you. And again, I'm always kind of thinking about the guys, yeah, but it wasn't my fault and she did this. I sympathize if that's what happened to you. I'm saying a lot of guys I talk to, the way they talk about relationships, when you see their exes, when you talk to them, when you listen to videos and footage of, oh, this was my ex, and you say, dude, what were you doing with her? And they'll say, yeah, I know. So it's effectively a lot of guys who go out with like these shallow, unintelligent bimbos that are just walking red flags. And they kind of sheepishly grin and go, yeah, I know, but she was really hot or she was good in bed. So you didn't look for any substantive quality in like who she was or her morals. You just thought she was a harmless little girl. Like a lot of these bimbos come off as, to men, they think they're dumb bimbos. Therefore, I'm a man, I'm superior. I don't have to worry because she's like a child. They're not. The dumb ones are the dangerous ones. And I know that most of them out there are like that, but that's why we need to be philosophically interested in yourself, because then you start getting embarrassed in going out with something that is lesser than you or that can hurt you. Life after divorce, aka Randall, says, if I could go back, would you really want to? I know I wouldn't. I really like who I am now and where I'm going. When I reflect on who I was even 6 months ago, who I was even 6 months ago, I feel anxious because I've learned so much since then, and those mistakes are so easy to avoid now. That doesn't stop me from making all new mistakes, but thinking about when my mother passed, you put it aptly, it became all about good people in my life and putting away the sword. Exactly. That happened to me too. I became softer in my dealings with people. I value and put more effort into those relationships. Exactly. That's what happened with me as well. You come face first with reality and what is important, letting go of fear and what you need to do and how you need to act. Because a lot of this stuff, we're playing video games with it in our head. We are having internal dialogues, internal worlds and relationships with these things. We're not having real tactile relationships with the life we're having out there, or we could have out there. 736B says, good choice following your interest for future videos. I can't speak on behalf of others, but I subscribe and watch your videos for your personal insights on matters. I can't apply stats and generalizations to personal relationships, but I damn well know when to walk away if things don't sit right with me and my values. You've given me the habit of self-reflection, the desire to understand myself, and the will to walk away till the end. Okay, thanks. That was a nice comment. Phil M says, it's a long road without any bends. I learned life is the journey, and you can either try to enjoy the ride or fight against getting on. Well put. People use the analogy of fighting against the current or the wave, but I like that analogy as well. Any comments in the chat stream? Remember, subscribe, Support the channel, guys. Click the like button. Anything you can do to help me out, much appreciated. But just glad to have you guys here involved in the stream. Black Magic 1087 says, "Human, I'm still waiting for the big jump." I haven't said that in a while. Neanderthal says, "Even the nice guys around me are beginning to say they think women have it easy in life and men are being used. Are things beginning to change?" Maybe. I think a lot of this stuff is publicized. I've noticed as well in the media, there's much more women kind of acknowledging the unfairness of men and how we're treating men. I think because they're more alone now. That's what I think. LJ Thompson says, "What are your thoughts on online dating, human?" Well, most people online date. I think it's really hard at best, and it's just terrible. Like a lot of the quick hookup stuff that most people are on, the more traditional dating sites, people put up very curated photos. They don't actually tell you who they are, honestly. Obviously, you can only really know who they are once you go on a date. But to actually bother to go out on the date and spend your time getting to know someone, when I was online dating in the past, even the more traditional sites like that have profiles and pictures, and you try and describe and show yourself as much as honestly possible, I'd say that 95% or more of the women there weren't who they were, who they pretended to be. And the excuse was, well, I got my friend to write the profile. I didn't care. Or guys don't really read profiles. They just look at the picture. So their excuse for not being genuine, so the excuse for their laziness is that guys don't read the profiles. Their friend made them do it. They don't like talking about themselves, blah, 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 blah. But for me, it's like, well, either you take it seriously or you don't. I mean, write to the best of your abilities, but be as honest as you can. But I think online dating is really difficult. It used to be much more in its early days because it was before the quick swipe type apps now, where we're treating each other like McDonald's drive-through. Before it was more of a it tried to resemble dating selection, like serious dating, much more. But I think the whole thing is just it's a dumpster fire now. It's really hard. Like you're kind of we're like it's a bunch of pigs like going through garbage and sewage, and you're sort of in there with everyone else on the internet, online, and on your phone, trying to find sort of that gem. So I have sympathy for the younger generation. Um, Quasiman says, "Geez, there's a lid for every pot. It's just hard to fit them if neither knows what they're trying to fit." Yeah, to fit to. It's hard to fit if neither knows what they're trying to fit to. And this is why I'm always advocating self-reflection, honest self-reflection, not over intellectualized kind of like, again, treating it like another video game, but very, very plainly and in a very interested way, knowing who you are. And the more you know who you are in plain, honest English and looking in the mirror and finding out who you are, you're really going to narrow your choices down, especially the older you are. But at least then there's a clarity of knowing what doesn't fit you anymore. So when you go on a date, it's no longer kind of like, well, let's give it a shot, let's give it time. You can quickly find out, like, no, not for me. You waste less time. It's harder, but you waste less time. So you enjoy your life on aggregate much more on your own, or if you're lucky enough to find the narrow fit of you because you're older and self-reflected, or even if you're younger and self-reflected, you give yourself the best chance if you're after something long-term. If you're just after thrills, do what you want. But I don't know what you're going to get out of my videos. Yeah, Quasimandias continues. The only answer is to be the self you need to be. The rest is detail. Yep. But be honest about it. Don't close your mouth on dates and use someone else. Be honest about who you are, and through conversation, reveal that they tell you who they are. And be astute enough, if you're interested in this stuff, like I am, and hopefully you guys are, that you know when someone's kind of hiding or acting or just being agreeable. Know how to talk and ask questions. Read between the lines, but also clarify between the lines how you converse. I know there's a lot of introverts there, but I'm an example of an introvert that learnt because I found it important. When I was very young, I was tired of being passive and silent, like, I made the recent video like a Johnny Depp. Just being the silent, passive, nice guy on dates and hoping that they like me. You keep failing at that, then you realize like you're going there as a blank sheet of paper with someone writing on you. You need to go there already written on. You've written who you are, and you're going there, and you're not a blank sheet of paper. You verbalize who you are. Comment again on I Can't Go Back, the video I made. Why can't I pick it properly? He says, Time of Dying 00 says, I am done with it. I am done. What am I done with? I'm tired of being the Clark Kent wherever I go. I'm sick of not being noticed for who I am or the makeup of my character. I'm so exhausted with women not willing to look more than skin deep to see if I'm actually a pretty decent guy who could be a pretty damn good husband and father. Again, I'd say as much as possible, talk, talk, talk. Don't think, oh, well, I don't want to blab. I don't want to give him the wrong. I know I talk a lot. It's just who I am. Maybe I need to shut up sometimes, but at the same time, I'm on a date. That's the most crucial time to let out who I am. If they don't like all of this, because all of this also leads to me having them answer what I'm asking too. If they don't like it, then bad luck. But it doesn't just show who you are if you're talking and you're communicative. They can't just see below the surface if you don't tell them and show them. And you demand that they do the same with you. There's too many men and women who are passively like hoping that people see what's inside, like what their family and close friends see. But on the first date, it's very hard. You don't know each other. The only tool you've got is communication. Let it out without any filter, because all you've got is your own fictional hopes of like, I hope this person's, I love the way they look, and I'm fantasizing that internally it's as good as what I see externally. But a lot of times it's not. So the great joy is when what you see externally matches what they say from their mouths, and you need to force that out a lot of times, especially if they're not someone like me. I'm a broken dam on dates because I'm interested and excited. I find it, I'm there for a reason. I'm excited to talk to the person and find out if, the external matches the internal. He continues, I'm actually a pretty decent guy who could be a pretty damn good husband and father. That someone underneath this dorky exterior, that somewhere underneath this dorky exterior, there's a deep reservoir of feeling that I just wish someone would give me the chance to express. Express it. Express it, man. Who cares if they like it or not? And if they don't know how to express it back, it's their problem. He continues, for a while now, I've just felt like I'm ready for the next phase of life, the next phase of adulthood, of manhood, but I just don't know how to get there when it seems like the other side is holding all the chips and cards. I keep saying the only thing you can do with the way the cards are being dealt in favor of women today is proximally in your life, be as expressive, honest, and as selfish but fair, using the golden rule as much as you can. Communicate, show who you are, show who you are, show who you are, and demand that they do the same. It's about the only power you've got today. Because the power out there isn't with men. T-Dog says, many men have had enough of the entertainment of it all, and the good community is slowly branching out to share and be positive. The education is necessary for most men. However, it's detrimental and unhealthy to reside in that space for too long. I've messed up plenty in my life, and it's great to now be clear on my values and to have some sort of power. This involves letting go of the bitterness, whining, extremes slash sides, perfection, negative people, self-imposed prisons, distractions, and the fear of missing out, especially given the trash nature of much of our culture now. I agree. He continues, life's just too short. Amen. I just prefer purpose and engagement, acceptance of self, enjoyment, connection with good people, exploration, and being open to life. Exactly. Well said, T-Dog. Robert J says it comes down to how much evidence an individual needs to say case closed. Yeah, leave the production of tabloid rack material to people with tabloid rack mentalities. I agree. All this clickbait stuff, I mean, the Johnny Depp thing is entertaining, but the interesting thing to me is when you can talk to someone reflectively about what's right, what's wrong, good moral behavior, not just, oh my God, he totally owned her. She's totally a narcissist and he's totally a good guy. It's like, yeah, okay. It's kind of very lowbrow entertainment. Is it entertaining or is it informative? Is it reflective? Ted1775 on the video I Can't Go Back. He says, Human, I am mulling this video and I have mixed feelings about it. The current environment and the laws are biased and dangerous. Girl power has declared WAR against men. Until the biased laws change, it's too dangerous for men to let down their guard. I wanted to include Ted's comment, not that I don't disagree with what's going out there. I agree with you, Ted. Again, bring it back into your world. Build your own bubble, and you don't let anyone in who doesn't have the right key. It's not, well, I'll let them in and hopefully they'll change, or hopefully they'll become someone I want them to become because I think they're hot. Do you let anyone into your home? Hopefully not. I know it's hard, but the only power we've got now, given the way the world is, and the way it's been for a long time, where women are holding the social steering wheel, is that you just don't get in the car with those people. You just need to be self-interested enough and find self-reflection necessary, not just intellectually interesting, but essential to sort of interact with the world. And those people that kind of don't find it interesting, I can understand why they just want to sort of stay online because it's pretty safe. You can just be interested in your own little corner if you're not interacting with the world. But if you feel like you want to interact with the world, if you want to engage out there a bit, you need to be philosophically interested in this stuff from a very selfish and personal point of view, but not where you impose it on others and abuse others, but be fair about it. But you need to be self-interested about this stuff for your own safety. This sun going in and out. Yeah, I am fairly orange, aren't I? I might do the next stream in black and white. I've always wanted to do that, but I'm not sure how people like it. Just to differentiate it between my normal videos and these. Scott K says, I remember watching some of your content from a year or so ago and comparing it to the tone of the current videos you make. It feels like you're in a much less cynical place. Yep, I am. And I described before a major shift. I was always leaning in this direction. I wanted, like from when I was talking about the social dynamics between men and women in the early days, I had a lot I wanted to let off my chest, and a lot of it was from like years of journaling from the decade before, and the unfairness and the frustration and feeling like I couldn't sort of come out and it was unfair. I couldn't sort of be part of the world out there because it was all about women. And I couldn't exist out there. And then when I finally decided to sort of show my face, that was one big turning point. It's like I started to sort of say, well, why can't I be as free and show my face and do vlogs and do videos like a lot of women are free to do? What have I got to, like, I'm not saying anything extreme. I'm just trying to express what I feel in the most intelligent, articulate way. And then just things kept going on and on and to now. And then when, like I said, Dad passed away, it's just been a constant evolution of shedding fear and being more real with who I am and what I want, and fairly interacting with the world. Scott K continues, much less cynical place, which is really nice to see. While cynicism is useful and can help us recognize some of the glaring problems we face, it's not a method of or process that actually allows you to move forward. I agree. Just apophatically always talking about what is wrong, what we don't want anymore, who was to blame in our past, which can all be true. I don't disagree. But staying in that place is an anchor to the past. You know, that should be in your rear vision mirror, or it's a book you get off the shelf that can help you when you're sort of in a moment and you have deja vu. It's like, whoa, been here before. Whoa, this chick something reminds me of my ex with this person. Whoa, what she said there was a bit off, because you've thought about that stuff apophatically for so long. But you need to live cataphatically, and it's the going your way sort of posture. What do you want? Who are you now? Who is this person that wants to lean into the future? What do you want tomorrow? How do you want to construct your life? What's the plan? What's the, all that stuff. Otherwise, we're kind of just safely going like, this is what I don't want, and I'm sitting here and I'm safe. And I'll just progress this way as the sands run out of the hourglass, and I'll be content with this. And there's nothing wrong with being content if there's nothing you actually want, or you're not interested in other aspects of life when they cross your path. But like, for instance, one way I notice some guys, like where they're really so habitually used to staying still and they're comfortable with it, then all of a sudden life introduces something where they fight against it. Like, they're safe in their routines of being alone, which is fine. And then all of a sudden, just by chance, some female runs across their lives, or they might have the opportunity to go on a date and she's really interesting, and there's this kind of dissonance between, like, that looks interesting but no, and it might be rational where she doesn't meet your values and ethics, she's something to avoid. But what if she's, after processing and coming to terms with who you are now, it's the first person that shows some inkling of compatibility with you, that you might be able to be with this person if that's what you want. Or if you're a guy who wants a family, it's the first person you run across. But you're so used to being chained to the, I'm going to be alone forever, women are too dangerous. What do you do then? That's why I'm sort of talking about, be very real with who you are, where you are now, and be realistic with the life you need to engage with. Yeah. Scott continues, it's not a method of process or process that actually allows you to move forward. If anything, cynicism demands you stay put mentally. Yeah. Being cynical, suggests being stationary. Often safely stationary, which is fine, but stationary nonetheless. He continues, I notice it in myself too, and it happens when I feel hard done by. I get into a cycle of frustration knowing full well that stewing on it doesn't get me anywhere. But the catharsis of staying in that mindset is addictive. It is. Because it's kind of almost like always being anchored to the past and talking about how you were hard done by and how bad women are. It's almost like virtually skydiving without actually doing it. You're completely safe talking about it because it's just like a fictionalized recounting of dodging a bullet, or base jumping, or something really risky. So it's addictive to sort of be in that mental space because you never have to physically put yourself out there and in danger anymore. But again, it depends on what you want to do if you're comfortable with where you are. He continues, staying in that mindset is addictive. Eventually I find my way out of it every time, and I don't necessarily know how I do that. Perhaps it's just thinking about it less over time and letting the more important things in life take up the active part of my thinking again. Either way, it's nice to hear you say this, as it confirms to me something positive has shifted in you. Thanks, Scott. It has shifted, as I described during this stream. There's a lot of factors, but I'm always reinventing myself. I don't think, like, I'm evolving, But I don't think I'm ever kind of flipping. Like I was one person yesterday and I've become a completely different personality the next. I believe in evolution and growth and progression, life seasons, just like we laugh at a lot of these girl power chicks who are Botoxed up and still riding the carousel and wanting to be effable into their 60s. It's a joke because they're living as a 20-year-old. Enjoy the seasons of your life and assess where you are. Assess sometimes you might be living the life that the 20-year-old you decided, and it's worked for a long time, but you've never kind of trusted the instincts when you feel bad, and you might need to adjust the dials a bit. Sometimes you need to cut things out of your life completely because they just don't fit anymore. They're just dragging you, they're slowing you down. Time is accelerating faster because you've got so much weight of the past behind you. All right. Next video. Was it love or pity? Ollie S says, he says, I like how you said, this is where home is and this is the fun roller coaster. I spent a huge part of my life just thinking home is the fun roller coaster and the vacation. And that was where my pain came from. Mine too. It's not just addictive, it's how do you say no in the moment to something that feels so good? It's hard to kind of be skeptically rational and go, whoa, hang on. To get control of your emotions when like a beautiful woman just wants to go to bed with you. It's hard. But yeah, most of our pain comes from not realizing that when we think we can have something serious from something that's just fun. We can't live on a roller coaster. We can't live on vacation. We have to live where home is for us. That's probably one of the things I'm most noted for, that video that I keep repeating because it keeps referencing in the points I make. That I came up with that realization long ago. What's home and what's a vacation? And most of our pain comes from thinking we can live on the vacation. The vacation is low risk taking because you've got a get out of jail card. Like you're going to leave, you're going to go back home. You don't live there. But a lot of people, they actually buy a one-way ticket on a vacation, but they think they've got a return ticket and they don't. So that's the very dangerous thing to sort of be mindful of. Tristan Z says, my comment in the video, killing people with kindness. He says, while going on a roller coaster ride, this I have been guilty of. Yeah, it sounds like most of, if we're honest about it as guys, most of our problems came where we're riding a roller coaster and we either lie to ourselves that we're not, that we think it's something more than what it is, or we want to make it into something meaningful. And it's no better than a lot of these women that they just pick any guy and they hope he'll change into who they want. Just as I always resented a woman using me as just raw material for whatever her dreams were without actually recognizing and seeing who I am and not caring about it, like there are a few serious relationships, and I'm talking more than 2 years, where at the end, it ended similarly, where they said, well, I thought you'd change. Well, I thought you wanted kids. And that was the breaking point. It's like, well, I told you I didn't want kids. And, they wanted kids. And it's like, they don't care. You're like that Homer Simpson episode where you're talking to them about who you are. I don't want kids. This is who I am. Blah, blah, blah. And all they hear is wah, 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 wah. And they just will fill in later who you are. You're a hollow guy that they fill in. And they don't like that when it's done to them. Women want guys to see the real them, but they don't reciprocate. They don't want to see the real guy, and they refuse. Because a lot of women think, oh, it's the relationship is mine. It's all about me. It's all about him making me happy. Yeah, what he says, yeah, whatever, they're words. But the real meaning of the relationship is what I want, what I feel, the future I want. He'll come around. No. I think that's it for the comments. Any more comments in the stream? Remember, if you want to ask a question, a whole bunch of emojis followed by a question mark at the end. All right, guys, it doesn't seem like there's any more questions. It doesn't seem like there's many questions this week. Maybe people were just listening to me blab. But the stream has been going for nearly an hour. That's maybe a good place to end it. A nice 1 hour stream, or just under 1 hour. Yeah, Neanderthal says, you are the hollow guy that they fill in. That's why they go for this, for his looks first and foremost. And a lot of guys go for looks and nothing else with women. And these kind of cocky guys that sort of say, well, that's all women are good for, just their looks. Well, with that attitude, you get what you deserve. Oh, can you believe she did this? Oh, I thought she was just looks. Oh, she had choices and predilections and, like, whatever you think of a mind, she had a mind as well to change and make decisions. Oh, who would have thought? I thought you said she was just looks. Well, if you're not interested enough to kind of find out exactly who she is, even if she's nuts, find out. There's no point saying, well, women are all looks, I don't care what she says. And then later on, you find out that she's more than looks. Well, all right. I think this is a good place to end it. Nice, short stream. Read a few good comments. I'll see you in another video very soon, guys. I'm feeling healthy. I'm feeling good. And keep the comments coming. Like, subscribe, and for any of you with a microphone, jump onto Discord after this stream. The link to it is in my About section on my YouTube channel. And if you're not familiar with Discord, just jump on YouTube, watch a 5-minute video of how to go on Discord and how to use push to talk. And then we're going to have a live chat like this. No video, but just audio. So if you've got a microphone, jump on Discord. And I'll catch the rest of you very soon in a video. See you guys. Have a good weekend. Bye.